iOS 11 problems, how to fix them. There are several new iOS 11 problems that can be fixed with an easy update to Apple's software. You can download iOS 1.0.3 right now. If only it were that easy, right? Glitches still persist for some users, and while all of them are minor, there are a lot. What's the issue? Nothing, really. This is routine for Apple's yearly iPhone and iPad update. Your biggest hurdle is that with so many devices, so many carriers, so many various settings you may have ticked that others don't, there are minor problems you and you alone might face with iOS 11. Do you have a specific iOS 11 problem not listed? Follow and tweet at us and we'll list it here and direct message you if we find a solution. From issues getting the new iOS 11 update downloaded and installed on your device and problems the new operating system seems to have caused for your device to things just not being quite how you want them, we'll take a close look at all the problems with iOS 11 and what you can do to try getting past them. 1. Your iOS 11 camera settings keep changing. This is one we got from a Tech Radar reader via Twitter. Your camera settings reset as soon as you close out the default camera app. That's annoying, right? The good news is that, as we explain, this is meant to happen. It's actually an easily missed feature introduced with iOS 10 and a part of iOS 11. 2. You can keep modes, like video or square, filters and studio lighting effects, and live photos locked if you visit the preserve settings in the camera settings menu. 2. Can't connect to a Wi-Fi network. One user has reported that their iPhone no longer allows them to join their personal Wi-Fi network, and they probably won't be alone in this. Some preliminary steps to try resolving this issue would be to reset your phone, reset the Wi-Fi router, even if other devices are clearly connected to the internet through it, or forget the Wi-Fi network on your device and rejoin. You can also attempt to reset the network settings of your device by going to Settings, General, Reset Network Settings. Don't worry, this fix shouldn't erase anything on your phone. However, the user who posted this issue tried many of these fixes to no success, so it may be a case of reverting back to iOS 10 and waiting for a fix to come from Apple. 3. Some apps are gone or not working properly. If you've been dragging along some old apps from phone to phone for a while now without updating them, either because you don't update them or because the creator won't update them, they may not work well with iOS 11. If they're old enough, or still 32-bit, they won't be compatible with iOS 11. If you haven't updated yet, you can use our guide to determine which apps will work with iOS 11. 4. Your iPhone's suddenly filling up its storage. One user has reported that the update to iOS 11 began to slowly increase the system storage on their device until the device was almost full. This error doesn't appear to be linked to specific apps, but rather just the storage that the system itself takes up. This is an issue that has cropped up even in the beta for iOS 11. Unfortunately, there's no clear resolution for this issue at present, and you may want to revert to your backup and wait for iOS 11.1 if you experience this issue. 5. The home button is slow to wake up the device. Multiple Apple users have posted that, after updating their old iPhones to iOS 11, their lock screen freezes for around 10 seconds, appearing to stall out or slowly load up before letting them use their device. Nothing could be more tedious than waiting around for 10 seconds just to check a notifications now and then. This is the type of problem that may resolve itself over time, as the new operating system gets familiar with your device and files. But if it persists more than a week, it will likely be worth restoring a backup of your phone and waiting for Apple to issue a fix for this. 6. Poor battery life with iOS 11. It seems that every new version of iOS invariably comes with a whole host of complaints that older iPhones have their battery life severely impacted. If your battery is dying early and it's not simply because you're spending more time playing with all the new features and learning all the new iOS 11 tricks, there are a lot of things that could be at the root of it. Older apps may not be playing nice with iOS 11. You can check to see if that's the case by going into Settings, Battery, and seeing which apps are using the most battery. If any apps that you hardly use are draining it like crazy, you might want to disable them until they get more iOS 11 friendly updates. It may also just be that it takes a little time for iOS 11 to get comfy with your device. This process could take a few days, so you might want to just wait it out. In the meantime, you can turn off GPS, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth when you are not using them. You should also lower the brightness of your screen and disable apps refreshing in the background. Settings: General Background App Refresh. 7. Your device is overheating. There are plenty of reasons a phone can overheat, and complaints seem to crop up around new software updates. Maybe it's iOS 11's fault, maybe it's just that your phone is working hard. In any case, you can temporarily address the overheating by turning the phone off, keeping it out of the sunlight or other heat sources, like the top of your computer, and exposing as much surface area as possible to the air, which means taking it out of any case and potentially propping it up. It's worth noting that charging your device won't help cool it down any, so wait until it's cool to plug it back in. If your habits haven't changed and your device is continuously overheating when it didn't usually before, it may be time for you to consider restoring an earlier backup of your device. A short battery life may be annoying, but overheating can seriously damage your device, and iTunes won't restore a fried CPU. 8. Power button isn't working. If something goes wrong with the update and your power button stops working, you can shut your device down in the menus. To do this, go to Setting General, and scroll all the way to the bottom of the list, where you'll see a shutdown option that will give you a slider on screen to turn your device off. This is especially handy if you are trying to restart or power down the phone because something else is going wrong, such as overheating. 9. iOS 11 won't let you send email with Outlook/Exchange. Apple has acknowledged a bug that's preventing some iOS 11 users from sending emails through certain Microsoft-run servers. The error message says "cannot send mail." The message was rejected by the server. Unfortunately, if this is the case for you, you may have to wait until Apple and Microsoft sort out the issue and use a different device to send those emails. 10. Control Center isn't how you want it, lacks features you want, or has features you don't want. Control Center is Apple's handy new way of controlling many aspects of your device, whether that disconnecting from Wi-Fi or quickly switching songs. You may have heard all about what Control Center can do only to find that it doesn't have all those features right there and ready for you when you install iOS 11. Or it may seem cluttered with tools you don't think you'll ever use. Luckily, this is an easy fix, as you can customize the iOS 11 Control Center by going to Settings, Control Center, Customize Controls. 11. Control Center keeps on popping up while playing games. As handy as Control Center is intended to be, Apple made sure you could easily access it simply by swiping up from the bottom of your device's screen. Unfortunately, this can mean you accidentally swipe it onto the screen when you're in the middle of using an app or playing a game. You can disable this access method while in other apps by going to Settings, Control Center, and disable the ability to access it within apps. 12. Control Center isn't actually turning off Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. If you're running into battery life issues, like to stretch your battery life as much as possible, or simply want to avoid risky wireless connection situations, you might want to turn Wi-Fi and Bluetooth off when you're not using either. You'll probably pop open the Control Center and toggle both off, except it just so happens those controls won't actually turn either off. They may disconnect you from the networks or devices you are currently connected to, but they'll leave the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth radios on. If you want to turn both off, you'll have to go into the main settings menu to do so, or you can use airplane mode to shut off all the device's radios. 13. The new dock at the bottom of your iPad keeps disappearing. If you just got iOS 11 on your iPad, you might be loving the new dock at the bottom of your screen that keep your favorite apps and tools.